So I just finished doing some upgrades to the house. While I was doing it, it occurred to me that I should make a video, on some smart home or home automation ideas that some of you guys out there could, implement. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the minor upgrades that I just completed. I'll explain each one and talk about how they could benefit, your own home, especially if you're looking to make it smarter. The first one is motion sensor light switches. So you can install motion sensor light switches throughout the house, but there's some places that you'd probably want to have it over other places. You can also have them either smart or not smart. I added one non-smart one and two smart ones. I already had one non-smart one installed beforehand, so I've got one smart switch installed for the front door light as well as one for the back door light. That way the lights come on automatically anytime I open the door and walk past those switches, which are right next to the front and the back door respectively. So the non-smart ones, I installed one in the pantry and one in a bathroom. So the non-smart one is a Lutron Maestro motion sensor light. So it's got 4 different timeout periods for use. So if you want the light to turn off after a minute, you can set it up that way after 5 minutes, after 15 minutes, or after 30 minutes. It's up to you, but I set mine to 1 minute because I'm never in the pantry for, more than a minute. The smart motion sensor light is from Casa. So Casa's got one that can be controlled via voice control, as well as setting, schedules for when you want the lights to work. Like for example, if you don't want it working during the daytime, you can set it up that way. And you can also set it so it adapts to the light around. So when it's bright, the light won't come on. And when it's dark, then the motion sensor will trigger and the lights will come on, which is when you want it to come on, which is really good right there. For both of them, the installation is very easy if you have, some electrical wiring knowledge or some experience with it. If not, I strongly advise you to go ahead and reach out to a technician to help you get that done. All right, so the next 3 devices that I'll talk about that can help you upgrade your smart home are from a company called Aqara. So they sent me these devices, and that's what prompted me to go ahead and make some smart home upgrade. But the first thing that I installed were their door and window sensors. So what these sensors do is they detect if a window or a door or any thing is open at any point in time, because there's 2 parts to them. One side is a sensor, the other one is a magnet. So if you want the sensor to identify as closed, then both of those items have to be close to each other. But if you keep them apart, then the sensor is going to read as open, which is how it works, using a magnet, which is pretty cool. It's got a really minimalistic design as well, like super small and very minuscule. Like you won't even notice it there unless you install it and you put it there. Most people won't even know that that's why it's there. There's got to be a maximum of 22 millimeters of distance between both parts. If it's more than that, the sensing will not work. As for how to install the sensors, it's super easy. This is probably one of the easiest things you can install to smarten up your home. It's pretty much a peel and stick system. That's it. There's also lots of automations that you can do with them, that you can set up things like when your door opens, you want your lights to go on. I think I installed about 6 of them throughout the house. I installed a few on windows, and I installed a couple on my front and my back door. That way I know whenever they're open, and if I need to do more advanced automations, then I can always have a sensor on the front and the back door. The sensors use batteries, so you'll have to change them after about 2 years, because that's kind of like their lifespan right there, which is a lot. I'm sure there are other options out there, but I can personally vouch for the Aqara model, and I love it. The only thing that I'll say could be a problem for some people is you'll need to have a hub to kind of use the smart features, to really kind of see when the doors open or close. You'll need an Aqara hub, and there's different kinds, but that's going to bring me to my next device on the list in a second here. All right, so for the next item on the list, we'll be talking about a smart security camera. So an indoor camera, though, also doubles as a hub for all of your Aqara devices. So there are different options out there for installing a smart indoor security camera, and some people are actually against it and don't want to have that in their homes. But for me personally, I've got valuables and I like to know what's happening within my house when I'm not home, especially. So having indoor security cameras on the major floors within the house, very important to me. So I did that, and I installed one on the main floor, one in my office just right behind me there, and the last one in my bedroom. So usually with these devices, you can set them up so they're not running when you're home, and when you're away, then they kind of kick into, action to start working. The indoor camera I installed throughout the house is called Aqara Camera Hub G3. So essentially, they've got other ones, but this one is, honestly, in my opinion, the one that looks the best. It's got these cute little bunny ears that I think makes it look cool. And it's very minimal. It doesn't take a lot of space, so it just fits right in, to different locations. You don't want it, on a flat top, like a surface or a bookshelf or something like that. And what you can do is you can mount it onto the wall, or you can mount it onto the ceiling. And when you mount it onto the ceiling, if you do it and it's kind of hanging overhead, then what you can do is, within the app, you can switch the orientation of the video. That way it appears normal instead of upside down when you're watching, on your phone. The cool thing about the G3 is that it's not just a hub, and it's not just the indoor security camera, it's both at the same time. It also takes SD cards if you plan on, locally storing your videos. That way you don't have to, use a subscription plan or anything like that, which I find to be, a huge plus for a device like this, a security camera. The camera has a 2K quality, so that's pretty good. Definitely better than 1080p if you're already used to that. Cool features like gesture control, which will allow you to control it with different gestures, obviously. So you can use it with Amazon's Alexa, Google's Assistant, as well as HomeKit and Siri. The camera quality while using it with HomeKit's secure video is only going to be maxed out at 1080p, so you can't exceed that. The camera has a full 360-degree pan and tilt, viewing angle, so that way you can kind of see everything happening around you. It also has human tracking and animal tracking. The only problem with that though is you can't have both, running at the same time. And I don't know why that is, but you just can't. You can pretty much set up a bunch of automations throughout your home, using a bunch of Aqara devices, the hub, and the app. Okay, so for the next smart home upgrade idea or home automation idea, you might want to consider installing some smart light switches. So there's different options out there, different brands you can go for. I replaced some regular switches with some smart ones. So the ones I replaced them with were from Aqara as well. So they work with the camera G hub, just like the window and door sensors. And they also work with like HomeKit, as well as Amazon's Alexa and Google Assistant. So that way you can control them with voice assistants or through their respective apps. Alexa, turn on kitchen.
Okay.
The installation process for them is pretty much just like any other light switch you would install throughout the house. So you want to make sure that you have a neutral wire if you're going to go for light switches with a neutral wire, because they have some with no neutral wire. And Aqara provides two different models that you can go for, a single rocker or a double rocker, depending on how you want to wire your home or your light switches. There's two things I don't really like about them though, and the first one is that they have sort of an off-white color, and if you plan on installing them right next to any white light switches or with like a white faceplate, then it'll probably stand out. Unless you're installing it by itself, like I did in my room right there, then you might not notice that, it's just gonna blend right in. I did change the faceplate. I wanted something black, so I used a Lutron faceplate in, my room to cover up the light. Just like the door and window sensor, you're also going to need an Aqara hub to use this. Aqara works with HomeKit, so if you have Apple devices, you're set. If you're interested in picking up any one of them, make sure to use the links down in the description below. One more thing that I'd like you guys to note is that today is Amazon Prime Day, so go ahead and check out those deals that they've got going on. I'm sure you'll find something that you like on the website. So anything that I talked about today, I'm going to link down in the description below. But that's pretty much it for this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and turn notifications as well. I will catch you guys in my next video. You already know who it is, man. It's your boy Tommy with Midas Tech, and I am out, y'all.